or what men start off being before a lot of them become bad boys, players, good men, or in some cases worse than that. So you can't really, to me, there's the difference between most men, nice guys, good men, bad boys, players, is really dependent on a couple things, a few things. Let's say the mom, if they had a good mom, honest mom. It'll depend on if they were raised with the father and the interaction between the father and the mom. It'll also depend on the girlfriend, his first girlfriend, the second girlfriend, or it could be potentially baby mama. And also, it could be on the influences that he's had in his life, because if his father or some family member actually warned him about women and how women lie to sleep for, or he's seen somebody else go through some stuff like that, through some bad situation with their baby mom, girlfriend. Those type of influences are going to determine what type of man a woman is going to be looking at, whether he be a nice guy, a good guy, or a bad boy player. Sometimes I think the Pookie and Ray Rays, a lot of times they have the worst of it all, because they may not have a father, they may not have a good brother, they might have been abused by somebody in the family. I think they have a lot of, they can have a lot of trauma in their lives, which makes them be a little bit more ruthless with women. But it all depends on the influences in their life as well, because those in varying degrees affect the man, but it also is going to depend on how that man, the strength of that man. Like you have some nice guys who are strong enough to continue to be nice, even though they learn through their situations. And you may have some nice guys who they may not learn. They may just continue to look for it. They might just be hooked on a particular woman. You might also have good guys. The good guys, I think, are the guys who have already been hurt. They realize the game, some of the games that someone is playing. But I don't think they necessarily know. They know the game, so they can actually deal with a woman that plays games because they know how to play the game. However, that doesn't mean they necessarily know how to pick good women. And so these guys, they're a little bit more versatile, but they may not necessarily be. They may still be kind of vulnerable to certain types of people. So these guys are going to be considered good because they're wiser to the game. Right? Then you have the players reason why that is because he's just lacking experience. But he's probably the best man. He's the best man a good woman can actually be. Now, a good woman, she recognizes value. She's better at recognizing value in men and other women than most women are. She's going to be able to see his, through some interaction, through seeing his personality. She's going to be able to say, this guy, he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got good mentality. I can see him going places. I can see him doing good things. She's going to understand that more than likely he's going to be good to her, treat her with respect, and love her. But she's also going to consider how he's going to be as far as a father to kids. Because if he's going to be, he's got to be loyal for one thing. He's got to be loyal to her. He's got to be loyal to the family. And his heart has got to be toward taking care of that family. And those are the things that she's going to be looking for. She is not looking for a good time. She's looking for a good life. She's looking for a good husband. But she's also looking to be a good life. And so this is the reason why she's going to be way more successful at relationships than a modern woman. Because a modern woman is really an immature woman. She does not look at life through reality. She looks at life through dreams, wants, and desires, not realizing that dreams, wants, and desires require effort. But also dreams, wants, and desires have to be attainable. If they're not attainable, then there's not something you should really put your power into, your effort into, because you're just basically wasting time. But a good woman is going to realize that about her life. That's the reason why she's going to listen. She's going to be teachable for women. She's going to listen to people she can trust. And she's going to learn how to make good decisions, or better decisions. She is a learner. situation where they may need something different. All right, because two people that think alike, it's a little boring. To be honest with you. Now, women think they want somebody to think about, but they really, really don't. They say they want somebody to think like them on their level, but they really don't. And the reason why I say that is because you have a lot of these so-called modern women getting involved with Pookie and Ray Ray. Now, Pookie and Ray Ray are different. They think different from her. They act different from her. They make love different from her. They do everything different. So they're more equally yoked than they would be with somebody that's on their level. And the reason being is because it's a small connection based on just sexual desire. That's it. And the sexual desire is just meant to be icing on the cake for an actual relationship between a man and a woman. And a relationship is a man and a woman coming together, but they have something that makes them relate. All right? The relate part of it is the same concept as the yoke. The yoke allows two different entities, so to speak, work together. All right? And that is what happens in a sexual relationship between a man and a woman, especially a modern woman and a Pookie and Ray Ray. So they have that second layer of connection as their first layer. And because it's their second layer acting as a first layer, they can never truly be together because it's not based on anything that's really hardcore, that's got a good foundation. Because sex when you're 20 is going to be different than sex when you're 80 or not. It can change. However, if you relate to somebody that you're having sex with, your relationship is never going to change. However, your sex can change. But in many ways, it'll probably get better. It'll probably evolve. All right, because you relate. And the more things that you have to keep you together, the more successful your relationship is going to be. And another part of the reason why, women can be equally yoked, it's only on a small scale, but it can be equally level with Ray Ray. It's because of that sexual thing. Sex is kind of it's almost like a universal bond to a degree. Now this is if you don't have any certain types of traumas can actually destroy that. So don't think that it's just always going to be compatible. But in most regards, sex is going to be something that's going to pull most people together. However, relationship is what's going to actually keep people. So if you ever hear of a modern woman talking about they're in love with a Pookie and Ray Ray, she probably is, because it's a second layer of being equally yoked with someone, but it doesn't have any foundation. So she'll never be able to capture this dude because they don't relate to each other. And he'll never really want her because he never really tried to relate to her in the first place. Now in modern times, that could also be reversed. So you really have to be careful with sex. Real world, honestly, it ain't gonna ever be perfect. All right. In some regards, it might be perfect for some people, but in other regards, it might not. But if you're a mature person and you know you connected to that relation level, you make up in your mind to make it work. And anybody make up in their mind to make a relationship work for both people. Both people, it'll work regardless of any shortcomings. So the good guy, the nice guy, and the bad boy players, all those guys, all of the thing that makes the difference between them is their interaction. Mostly their interaction with women. That's not saying that's going to be in every case, but I'll say in most cases. Any negative, how much they've been negatively affected by women, the relationships with women, is going to determine what type of guy they are. And the guy that is going to be the easiest to bond with for most women, that's whether you've been sexually abused, emotionally abused by a man, if you've been promiscuous, as long as you're willing to change your life, you can get with one of those type of men. They're like a second chance for you. However, if you ever you could be creating a monster. Just remember that. And that's on the good day. Because you don't never know what type of trauma that man has been through. And some people can be nice. They could have been nice the first 5 women. But that last woman, they can snap. So you can't really take people for granted. And one of the most respectful things you can do to a man that's nice, he's good in every other area except may not be attracted to him. You say, hey, I think you're awesome, dude, but I can't be with you. Alright, and you should cut that dude. Cut him off, cut him off, alright, leave him alone. And let him take that as a good experience. Tell him that, you were doing wrong, or you too good for her. In reality, more likely probably is. Right. But that is some of my thoughts on the difference between nice guys, good guys, bad boys, and how they become. Because it's basically caused by their interactions with females, negative interactions with females. But that's what happens with nice guys retaliate. Hope you guys like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. If you got anything to add, put that down there too. And we'll talk to you later.